Welcome to Record-ology.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. And now for something completely different. I purchased a cassette deck today. It is this guy right here, the Sony TCW490. Now let me ask you something. What's your first impression of the, date this? I guess 97, 98. It just struck me as 97 to 98. What do you guys think? It looks kind of basic. There's a few things that really attracted me to it. By the way, we're going to test it out. I have not even plugged it in. So it could be DOA. It could work perfectly fine. I have no idea. I'm praying it doesn't need belts. And we're going to open it up together and have a look in the show as well. I paid $10, by the way. So the last deck I bought was that Technics for $15. So I figured $10 can't go wrong. Although, if it's the same people saying that one's worth $15 and it worked fine and this one's only $10, it makes me wonder why they thought that. So anyway, I looked it up. I found the manual. The manual is copyright 1992, so I'm guessing it's a little older. Also, I assumed that it needs to be cleaned up. I gave it a wipe down, an initial wipe down, but it needs to be detailed out. The decks are a little dirty as well, but initially I also thought it was part of a larger component system. You know what I mean? Like where it's not really meant to be a standalone unit, but it looks like it was sold that way. So this is an interesting unit there. So we've got the 2-motor transport mechanism. It's a sort of a Sony thing. I remember on the Sony the Dolby S machine we had last summer had the dual motor transports, which we'll look at here in a minute. And that sounds cool and all. I mean, more parts, more belts, more things to go wrong. So I do like the fact it's got logic controls. It's kind of unique. I think that's a good thing. I think that I prefer a logic control over, mechanical buttons. It does have Dolby B and C, and what I really liked about this one, as you can see, sorry, we're limited space here. It does have the HX Pro, which is really, really cool. Also says high density head. Can you guys explain to me what the heck that means? I do not know what that means. So educate me if you wouldn't mind. There's the Dolby on-off B and C switch. It does high-speed dubbing. It's very basic. Record level. It does have a headphone amplifier built in, a balance knob, the counter reset buttons, and that's about it. Cosmetically, it's in okay shape. It's not anything to write home about. On the back, like most tape decks, it's got a very basic line in, line out control. And let's look on the bottom here. Pretty basic bottom panel as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a very basic tape deck. Spin it around here. The TC4W590 had auto reverse, and what else did it have? There was another feature it had. It had dual directional motors, which I'm not 100% sure if I understand that. Dual directional motors. Let's go ahead and power this up. First thing I think of is that some sort of auto reverse mechanism or something, but then it also separately listed that it had auto reverse. So I could look this stuff up, but it's more fun learning from you guys. So let me know down in the comments below. All right, let's go ahead and see if she works. Strange sound, kind of a whirring noise there. Let me let me zoom in a little bit first. And I'm going to turn off the light. Let's look at that display there. Nice fluorescent display. I like that. Got our digital VU meters there. Start with... I love this tape. This thing is just so cool. Give us a little bit of light there. Not quite as much as before. So yeah, it was powered on already. That's a mechanical switch, so it's going to... I don't like that sound. Yeah. Okay. It plays. Yaws. It rewinds. Yes. It fast forwards. Yes. All right. This deck A, seems to work. We haven't listened to anything yet. go to deck B. Ooh, that's making that weird noise. It's playing, but it's something. We need just to deoxit something in there. Rewind. Great. Fast forward. Oh boy. It's working though. Interesting. Okay. It's a bit of a screaming Mimi. So, that tells me that the belts work. Perhaps we have a lubrication issue. Alright, let's go ahead. Get a screwdriver. And look inside. Which I was going to do this anyway. Love looking inside. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll cut to the inside so you don't have to watch me screwing and unscrewing. Did somebody mention that Cassette Comeback is no longer making videos? May know why that is. I have no idea. I've seen a few of his videos. I'm not a... He wasn't a subscriber, I don't think, but definitely seen some of his content. Okay, moment of truth. By the way, these things were frozen on. I had to use my ridiculous screwdriver to get enough torque to get those things on. They were all of them were frozen. They were all frozen on. I get the impression they've never been removed. By the way, before I forget, I picked up some records today too. It's gonna make some great show material down the road. But rather than do a haul video and show you everything, I don't want to ruin the thunder of revealing what those oddities are down the road. So, but you know what's ridiculous? Goodwill is charging $2.99 for their records now. $2.99 for thrift store records, and it's nothing better than it's still Jim Neighbors, Judy Collins, and it's not like the materials you find treasures in there. One man's trash is another man's treasure kind of thing. That's how I've always found anything in a thrift store. It helps when you like the kind of stuff I like too. But yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. Okay, enough stalling. Let's do the big reveal. Here we go. Let's see what's under the hood. Okay. There we go. What the heck? This is weird. This circuit board. Look at this. This is like angled circuit board on the transformer there. So this is all separated because it's the power. I'm surprised it doesn't have a shielding thing around it. Let's look at some of these chips here. That I see is a Sony chip. I see a Texas Instruments one over to the right there. Some Motorola chip there. Some Sony chips. More Texas Instruments. I think the Sony S-Deck that we reviewed had at least one Toshiba. There's some fuses up there. Giant caps. Nothing awry. Let's look at the mechanisms. Oops. Man, am I glad that the belts are okay. Although, why is this one screaming? The belt looks great. Over here, both belts. It's got one flat belt. Oops. It would help if I showed you better. It's got one flat belt. You can see it down in there. And then one square belt up on the left there. And indeed, it does have 2 motors per. October 11, 91. So this is probably an early example of this product. Let's go ahead and, again, I'm doing this at my own risk. You're not ever supposed to plug anything in. You're not supposed to take anything apart. It's dangerous. It's bad. It's dumb. But that pretty well describes me. So let's go ahead and power it up. Like this. What on earth? Keeping my hands out of the device while it's on. I'm going to power it off and then power it back on. Let's see if we can see what's going on. It's that flat belt. I think it just needs some lube. I hate that word. Lubrication. I think. Zoom in. I think it's that motor shaft. I'm going to power it off one more time. Watch that motor shaft. I think that's the one. Oh, now it's getting a little better. Okay, I'm going to go get my deoxit. I'll be right back. It's not deoxit brand, but it's the same idea. Unfortunately, I misplaced my straw that goes with this. So we are just going to go for it. This stuff evaporates right away, so we shouldn't have any issues. Now, I also said I was going to put lubrication on it. This is not a lubrication. This is actually a cleaner. But I'm going to try this route first before we put any lube down there. You know, you want to avoid having lubricant around rubber belts because it just slips. You know what I mean? So let's see if this helps things. I've plugged it back in now. Yeah. You know what's interesting is this deck, it doesn't seem to be squeaking, so that's probably all I need. It's probably just some oxidation. This deck is like... when I power it up, the motor spins for a second, and that's why it was squeaking. This one doesn't seem to do anything upon power up. So I'm going to turn it off again, turn it back on. Yeah, just that side over there. That's weird. I mean, but it seems to be working. All right, let's go ahead and test the sound. Let me get this out of the way. Move that forward there. All right, I've got the audio cable connected now to the Persona speakers. Again, it's not smart to do this with everything opened up like that, but I'm not smart. All right, let's go ahead and hit play here. Sounds okay. Still got a little bit of interference on that speaker, but it's not, it has nothing to do with the deck. Stop. Scooch it over a little bit here. Stop. I'm trying to be a good boy and hit stop in between fast forward and play and all that. Let me rewind it. We just passed the portion where there's sound. Man, that's a really strong and fast rewind. By the way, you'll notice up here these white pots. I believe those are speed adjustment pots, although I don't see it on this deck, so maybe not. Let me know down in the comments below if I'm wrong. Some sort of variable resistor. I would assume that would be speed control, but why wouldn't there be one on this side? Could be a gain control as well. All right. Yeah, it seems to work good. To me, this would be a perfect deck if it had auto reverse. Now, I know a lot of you guys have told me, well, it's actually better not to have auto reverse because... Sorry, I'm trying to do too much with too little. It's better not to have auto reverse because the head being fixed like it is with this unit. Let's look at the head, by the way. Come on, focus. I've run out of arms. Hold on a second. There it is. It's dusty in there. It needs cleaning. So yeah, it's obviously a stereo head, but and it's a 2-head unit. What is this high density head? Does it just mean the coil wrap inside that head shell is more dense and therefore higher quality? Let me know the implications of that. But people told me that with the fixed head, it's a good thing because there's less room for error with a fixed head. Little hair stuck on that pinch roller. Not that it matters a ton right now. I gotta clean this. I'm gonna have to really get in there. I need a can of air. I need a lot of things. Let's go ahead.
She grinned as the laser attack came to an end. I've played bullets and bracelets before, Daddy, but this is ridiculous.
All working as it should.
Silently for a moment, the
Awesome.
began to shake. Wonder Woman dashed toward it as she shouted to the others, warning them to stand back. It's getting ready to launch another.
Everything seems in working order. I haven't tested recording yet, obviously. But it's a good initial look at this unit. I think that it does have potential. I definitely feel like I got my $10 worth. A lot of people in the UK have, expressed frustration that they never see things like this in their charity shops. So I wish that wasn't the case. But and I didn't mean to start buying all these decks either, but they just pop up and they've kind of piqued my interest lately. I want to get a single deck machine because I know the dual deck machines like this are more entry level because they're designed for the fad of you know, that I lived through of, I want to dub your tape, you know what I mean? I want to make a dub of it. And the interesting fight that it ensued between the recording industry and electronics manufacturers is quite an interesting story. But I would like a deck to replace the Pioneer, because the Pioneer has a couple of quirks. The Pioneer, as you saw in the demo the other day, and now that we have this, we're going to do maybe a 3-way shootout, similar show at some point. But if you remember a few months ago, I completely destroyed. I snapped off an RCA plug in the connector on the back of that unit, and it's totally mangled. So it needs some tough love. And yeah, it works, but you kind of have to put it in the right spot, and I don't want it to be that way. So anyhow, I think that's going to do it for today's show. An initial look, an initial test of this Sony cassette deck. I like it. Oh, by the way, here's the top of those fingers. It does have the auto tape select like the Pioneer. My autofocus just decided it's not going to work anymore. There are the top of those fingers, or feelers that feel the top of the tape. There's the other one right there, to tell it what kind of EQ it needs to use based on the tape formulation. So pretty cool stuff. All right, let me know down in the comments below what some of the stuff that I asked about, and anything else I missed. There's the Dolby circuit. Pretty cool stuff. I just think it's a cool unit. I'm excited to learn about it. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. And for $10, it's definitely something we can use on the show. I see us using it a lot. So anyway, that's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.